All right, we have a lot to get into, so I am just going to hop right into it. Adam McIntyre, a content creator here on YouTube, was reported to ICE by his Snark Reddit. I wanted to take this moment to touch on maybe a larger topic than just this particular Snark Reddit reporting Adam to ICE. I've noticed this increasing trend in online communities, in online spaces, in online fandoms of using these fascist tactics to go after people without naming names. Stuff like people trying to get someone deplatformed or censored because they don't like the certain opinions that they have. I would even say going as far as trying to paint someone as a predator, knowing full well that they are not. I think it's very interesting that these online fandoms that wouldn't necessarily consider themselves to be right-wing at all and would oftentimes consider themselves to be on the left are now using these very fascist tactics to go after people they don't like. I mean, swatting and doxing is insane in and of its own right, and you could argue also plays into sort of fascist tactics. But I'd say reporting someone to the Gestapo because you don't like a video they made is a little much. Now, in the interest of fairness, I did go and look at Adam's Snark Reddit before it was deleted. And there were some posts, and specifically this was one that I did get a screenshot of. It's basically saying most of us don't support that person reporting Adam to ICE, etc., claiming that they aren't all fascists and Nazis and whatever, and I'm sure they aren't. But it's interesting that they are continuing to use these very specific tactics of censorship, like continuing to take someone out of context to insinuate that they are a predator who likes to talk to children in the middle of the night. Again, not naming names, but these are things that I have seen recently. I suppose it's not really new, but in my opinion, it has ramped up in the last year or two. That's pretty much all I had to say about this, though. I mostly just wanted to talk about the increasing use of these tactics in fandoms and how interesting it is that these groups who wouldn't consider themselves to be on the right are so easily leaning into the right, and their framing on things oftentimes in order to paint these people in the worst light possible. And part of me thinks it's a way to clear their conscience, because if they view somebody as a terrorist supporter or as a predator, then they can justify all of the terrible things that they are doing to them. If they think that Adam lied on his visa to get into the country, then they can justify reporting him to ICE.
There is an entire thread on here about how they are analyzing that I am on an R1 non-immigrant visa that is for religious organizations to perform religious duties. Now, people, we have got to use a little bit of common sense here to know that that is not the visa that I am under. However, there is an entire thread where people have spent 11 days dissecting my visa, incorrectly by the way, implying that I'm here on religious activities, which number one, isn't true, but number two, has now started this movement where they are all reporting me to ICE.
So they either have to interpret the events in the worst light possible or rely on the worst interpretation and lean into it. And it's very fascinating, this sort of cognitive dissonance that it creates between reality and the idea that they have come up with in their head to justify why they hate this person. Obviously, there are some bad actors in the group who just know exactly what they're doing, but I do think, unfortunately, a lot of these people are people who think that they are on the side of good, on the side of justice in some way, when in reality, they are just leaning into the right and becoming a tool for the right to go after people who speak out against things that they don't like, for example, calling out Israel's genocide of the Palestinians. I don't think it's a coincidence that all the people who end up a target of these sort of things are people who have spoken out against certain issues and continue to speak out against certain issues. I'm going to wrap it up here. This was a pretty short video, But thank you so much for watching. Leave the video a like for me and hit that subscribe button. I want to try and hit 100 subscribers by the end of the summer. So if you want to help me reach that, hit that subscribe button, make the number go up, and just know I appreciate you. So take care of yourself. Free Palestine, and goodbye.